It's your boy, D. Harv. Welcome to Straight Up On Game. Y'all know how we do it every Thursday night. On the East Coast, it's 11:30 p.m. On the West Coast, it's 8:30 p.m. Text a friend, call a friend, get on the phone, and have them come on in. Now it's showtime. Get ready. Here's the man, the host, the running back guru, D. Wright.
To hear me because my mic was muted every week. I think that's a thing that brings us good luck. I just wanted to say, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight on Straight Up On Game. Before I get started, I want to bring in our other co-host, Mr. Bryan Welch.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's the springtime, and it's the month of April. But before we get going, hey, Colorado has Coach Prime, but we have Coach Billy Battle joining us on Straight Up On Game. Coach, how are you, my friend?
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Straight Up On Game. That's right, y'all. D. Harv on the East Coast. We out on the West Coast. Let's get this popping.
You mean the best coast, right, Coach Billy?
The best coast. That part. Yes, sir.
Well, it's definitely going to be a blessed day today. We have some awesome, we always have awesome viewers, but we're going to have some great guests on, and we're going to be talking about women's sports. And I think it's very important that we pay attention to women's sports, and the noise that women's sports are making right now is tremendous. We talk about the lack of pay. We're talking about the lack of the attention. All this stuff needs to be brought up to pass. We have, like I said, some great leaderships coming on today on our show. It's going to be awesome. But let's go ahead and talk about some current events before we get to our guests. Since we have everyone on, I know all the viewers, finally, we have everybody on at one time. We like to see that on Straight Up On Game.
Yes,
Of course.
All right.
So, Mr. Welch, go ahead and get started on our primetime sports.
Well, you know what? Hey, big game tonight in the NBA. It is the Lakers taking on the Warriors. Probably that's a big game in the Western Conference, as it's been, I can get the score right now. Also, some spring ball right now, 2 days out before the spring game for Fresno State football. Dwayne and I will touch on that a little bit later on during the show. But, hey, baseball season is going on right now. A lot of things are going on around the sports world. And you know what? It's always great to talk about the land of sports, and let me get that score for you guys. But, hey, big game between the Lakers and the Warriors tonight.
Huge game. Again, I'm a huge Lakers fan, so I've been watching it in and out, going in and out. I know we got some Warrior fans in the building once we get to that part of it. And then Sacramento Kings. I don't even know. Are there any more Sacramento King fans? I mean, still, I don't know. I know Coach Letticia is going to get on here, and she's probably going to vouch for a little bit of that later. But, hey, D. Harv, I want to know a little bit about Orlando, man. What's going on with your Orlando Magic?
Tragic.
My Orlando Tragic. Well, they've been playing pretty well lately.
Yeah, they got us.
We got a good chance of making the playoffs without playing in.
Yeah.
So they've been winning games this season. Paolo has been on point. So all season long. So yeah.
Okay.
Decent. We ain't gonna win the title, but at least they'll be in the playoffs.
Well, take a look at this, guys. It's the Warriors right now leading 63-53 against the Lakers in the third quarter. So a little bit of trouble right now in the City of Angels. And we look at this game from two perspectives. You see Jimmy Butler for the Warriors. You see Luka and LeBron for the Lakers. And I've been thinking about this, and this is what we wanted to see after this whole entire trade debacle. And when the Heat traded Butler to the Warriors, and then Mavericks trading Doncic to the Lakers, we wanted to see this matchup because, in my opinion, this is probably going to be the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Same. I really believe that. And these two teams are playing well. Okay, I understand the Thunder are playing well. I know the Rockets are playing well. But when you have that championship pedigree, when you have Stephen Curry for the Warriors and LeBron James, the king of basketball for the Lakers, that know how to be they know how to be able to.
Ain't nobody give it to him.
I know exactly what you mean, DR. But the thing is that you have teams that have been able to be in the postseason, and those two teams that are playing tonight are going to be part of the Western Conference Final. What do you think about that, Coach Billy?
Man, the way it's going, we do have to, pick up our game a little bit. We done took a couple of hard losses. Like you said, we're down right now. That loss to Orlando, hurt. We still, I believe, we still sitting in the 4th spot. Right now, we are, I think, 3-0 against the Warriors this season, and it could be 3-1 real easy tonight. But they come out and play ball. The way they've been playing ball. My Hachimura is back. We got some guys that come off the bench that can light it up. Connect and who is that? AR. With
Austin
Reeves, baby.
Reeves.
Man, dude, if everybody's on all cylinders, man, we're gonna be unstoppable, defense and offense.
And you have to look at it, especially during this point in the season, right before the playoffs. You don't really want to have an off night.
Right.
If you have an off night, if the Lakers lose tonight, it feels like a setback in my position.
Well, of course, it's going to feel like a setback, right? It's going to feel like a setback. I mean, we got LeBron that's in and out, inconsistent this season with injuries and things of that nature. We do have our top 6, right? We have our top 6, but I'm worried about that bench this year. Just kind of like Orlando, I think they're doing a great job because they do have a bench, a little bit, but they do have. I feel they're a little bit stronger right now without the lack of injuries. What I do want to point out while we're on this case, I seen Jay Moran. What was that whole deal? What's going on with that? With the whole, did you guys hear about that? You didn't hear about the symbol, the gun symbol? What was that, D-Hart?
Buddy Hield also did it. I think he was responding back to Buddy Hield because he was doing it to him, and when he was walking towards the bench, that's when Josh started doing it to him.
So the whole deal was, right, they were doing the whole bang bang deal. You know how athletes do it, right? I mean, sometimes you don't mean to, like, you don't want to kill a guy. It's just like a friendly, like, okay, I got you. So I think you basically, right? I think when people get the whole notion of taking things too serious, they have to remember, like, it is sports too. I know he had the case and things go on. You're right, we know that, but sometimes, man, you gotta let these guys play. Basketball is a game of emotion. I mean, I don't know.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do.
Right.
I mean, we do
pretty
stuff
much
with each other, and it don't mean no harm.
Right.
But when they see it, oh, he's gonna kill him. But it ain't really like that.
Right.
Any little thing, man. Any little thing they see, it's like, dude, they put their twist on it. They always take it to the extreme sometimes.
I'm really banking on players now going overseas, like back in. I like that whole movement. If I'm here in America, I'm balling out. Let me just go overseas and take my game over there, and they're going to pay me. I don't know, Welch. What do you think about that?
Well, you look at it, a lot of great players that don't make it in the NBA, that do not want to sign a G League contract, have stellar careers in Australia. There's a really good league in Australia, especially you look over across the pond in the UK. There's some good teams in the UK. Basketball is basketball, and whoever wants to pay, whoever's the highest bidder, go out there and get it. Seriously, get the top dollar. We always talk about fighting for that top dollar and play it at any level. These players that want to go overseas want to be able to still play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a pretty dollar.
And I bet you that that whole situation over there, I'm guessing it's a gentleman.
Yeah.
DR? Okay.
Jordan Smith.
Jordan Smith. Sounds familiar. Yeah. Jordan Smith. I can almost guarantee that Jordan Smith is loving it over there. I mean, he's being treated like a king. He's probably getting paid, walking around, signing autographs, being able to, be important, things of that nature. So I don't know. I'm with that. I wish they bring back the World League in football, man. That was pretty awesome. I like that.
I think they're actually doing Italian football. Well, I know there's a German football league
I remember. Okay.
Over there. I know there's like some teams that play in Italy and all that, but it's kind of, you kind of bring up the point. I was talking about baseball season a little bit earlier. You see a lot of players that phase out that don't make it to the Major League Baseball. They usually get phased out in minor league baseball. They go the independent baseball route. That's kind of like the last chance for them to play. Or if they don't make it in minor leagues, they go down south and play in the leagues in Mexico, which that's a lot. That is a very fun league to watch. If you ever have time to watch that, it's a very competitive league, and you see a lot of great players that are still good in the standards of the United States, but they're not going to be able to make it to the Major League Baseball ranks. But they're able to play down south. It's really, really competitive leagues, And we talk about every week, guys, about, hey, you know what? If you're a student athlete, you got to find a way to get to that next level. You're going to go to any level to chase that dream. And all these players want to chase that dream from 18 years old to the 35-year-old.
And we're talking about chasing dreams. You know, we go back to women's football. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to come back and we're going to bring in Letticia Gilmore. And she's like my big sis. I mean, she's a God-fearing woman. She's very strong in the church, but she does an awesome thing outside of the church. I cannot wait to hear her because she's like a pretty big deal in Sacramento. So we're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back. We're going to come back with Welch, D. Harv, Billy the Kid, and myself. We'll see you in a minute. We are back. We are back. We have a special guest. As you can see, Coach Letticia Gilmore. She is on the air tonight. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. How you doing, little
Doing
brother?
well. Doing well. You know, we're going to be on this show for a very long time. This is episode 31, and it feels good to have people that we know that do awesome things all across, you know, the United States, and you know, especially for the youth. And what you're doing out in Sacramento, I mean, speaks volumes to who you are. So let the world know who you are. We're going to give you the space right now. It's just going to be you, the camera, Bryan Welch, D. Harv, and Billy the Kid. I'm going to go backstage and handle some stuff, but we're going to bring you to the main place. And we're going to ask you some, oh, that's me. Let me remove myself. But we're going to ask you some very important questions. But tell everybody about you. Like, what do you do? Who are you? You know.
Okay. Well, I am Coach Letticia Gilmore. Now, I'm originally from Oakland, California, born and raised. So I'm a Dubs fan all day from the Bay. I'm a Kings fan where they're not playing the Dubs. But I am CEO and head coach of Solid Ground Sports Academy, which is a nonprofit I started 7 years ago, where we mentor kids through sports. 4 years ago, we started our flag football program. I started it with girls only, but since then it's become co-ed. And little brother, I think you forgot, I am also the head flag football coach at Sacramento Charter High School. Go Dragons. So we just had our first season. This is the second year that California high schools have had girls flag football as an official high school sport. So super excited about that. My husband and I have 5 kids, and our youngest daughter, Hannah, she plays on our team. She's been playing since I started flag football 4 years ago. We ran our own league in 2022 for Solid Ground. And I'm doing a little revamping and retooling because of the area that where I coach high school. We're working on bringing our flag football program to the youth in the Oak Park area. Shout out to Sacramento. Anybody watching?
Of course, and Coach, welcome to the show. I'm from Fresno. I live in Fresno right now, so I know exactly what you're talking about with Sacramento. But how important is that to have flag football for high school girls right now?
Oh my gosh. You know, I'll tell you something, Brian. When I first started the program, I didn't even realize that there was a community for flag football, that it was growing. Um, and to see where flag football is now, um, that girls can get scholarships now to go play in college. 2028, I don't know if you guys heard, but flag football will be introduced as an Olympic sport. I'm super, super excited about that. Um, our flag football program has been members of USA Flag Football. And shout out to my mentor, one of my mentors, if she gets to see this, Coach Angelica Grayson. She is on the coaching staff of the 17U girls national team with USA football. So there's so much opportunity now for young ladies with flag football, from high school to college to the USA national team. There's also the International Women's Flag Football Association, which I'm also a part of. And flag football is literally around the world. They're playing in the Bahamas, they're playing all over the world. So it's such an exciting time for young women in the sport of flag football. And I'm sure you guys have seen what the last couple of Super Bowls, there have been a young woman in the flag football commercial. So Diana Flores, the number one flag football player in the world. That girl, that's a bad girl right there.
He's
So
nasty.
I mean,
Yeah.
the sky's the limit for flag football. What you say?
I actually I have a question, Coach. I have another question. Sorry about that. Hey, so
Okay.
with this is very important with flag football. Actually, when the first year that they actually unveiled flag football in the state of California, one of my buddies' dads was a referee for flag football. So he would be refereeing flag football on Wednesday nights and all that. With this being the second year of flag football for women in high school sports, what part of Sacramento do you what part of Sacramento do you work in? Did you hear that?
So I'm in the Oak Park area in
Gotcha.
South Sacramento.
Gotcha. And you
Say
talk.
it again.
Sorry about that. I know we have a technology problem issue right now, but we're resolving that for you. But we're talking about high school football and the refereeing. It's really important. But you talked about the scholarships. And have you had any players get any
Yes.
scholarships yet from universities?
So not from my team. I know there are girls from other teams that are being looked at. Unfortunately, my team had a very rough first season, where in the win-loss column we didn't win a game. But I did see some good things throughout the season. There were some very close games that we could have won. And I think because it's such a new sport and we're getting a lot of girls, and not just my team, but other teams that have never played. So these girls are learning the game on the high school level, where you'll have other girls who have been playing. So they have an advantage. Um, and then when you get girls, there are certain schools, we have some schools that are just powerhouse teams. Christian Brothers High School, McClatchy High School had a very good team this year. I'm just trying to think of a few of the teams that have solid programs. St. Francis, Destiny Christian Academy. Who else had a good year? Hiram Johnson. There are a couple of girls who actually came out of my program who played for Hiram Johnson High School, and their team made the playoffs. So I was very excited for them. Down in Vacaville, Vacaville High School, they won the league that we play in. We're the only Sacramento school in this particular league. And then there's River City and West Sacramento. But most of the teams in the particular league we're in, they're in Vacaville, Fairfield, that area. So Vacaville High School, I think they went undefeated. They're just very solid, very good, very big program. Where I coach at a charter school, which is a smaller school. So I don't have a large talent pool to choose from because I have to compete against volleyball and cheer to get players. So that kind of poses an issue being at a smaller school. But the girls that are coming back and some incoming freshmen and other kids that I've talked to on campus about coming out to play is going to give us a solid team. It looks very promising. I'm excited about the next school year.
And Coach, you brought up a good point there about you have to compete with different sports. You have to compete with women's tennis, volleyball, cheerleading. So how do you sell that? How do you sell that to those prospective players to come play for your team?
Just first of all, let them know we're going to have fun, encourage them to come out. And some girls will walk by during practice. And I think I don't really have to sell it as much now as I did before we actually had our first season because the girls have come out to the games. And so I even had about 3 or 4 girls come play the last 4 games of the season with us. And because of that, 1 or 2 of them are actually coming back. And I mean, these girls played very good. One girl, she ended up being player of the week. She just played that good. She's just an all-around athlete. She plays other sports. But I think now that girls have seen the first season of it and kind of see what it looks like, so now we have more girls showing interest. So you kind of don't have to sell it now. Once they've seen it, they see what it looks like. They've seen, highlights on the news, and maybe they've gone to other games at other schools to see friends play. So the sport is just blowing up. So I'm pretty excited, and we have more schools here in Sacramento that are starting programs for the first time for the coming school year. So I think that, and then, seeing the commercial during the Super Bowl and knowing that it's going to be an Olympic sport, I think it's just drawing girls in more and more. So I'm excited about that.
We cannot wait to see what's going to happen in 2028 for the flag football portion of the Olympics. But I know Coach Billy, being down in San Diego, has seen the flag football grow is in high school. Coach Billy, you have a good question for Coach?
Yes, Dylan. As far as the girls are concerned, have there been any girls that actually wanted to play with the boys or even tried to be on the regular football? Because I coached middle school. I had girls play on our team at the middle school level because they incorporated that 2 years ago. This is my 3rd year coaching flag, and I had 2 girls that are now freshmen at the high school I coach at and everything. And but now it's like they have to be on the girls' team. I see the youth girls also. One of our coaches at the high school is also he also has a team with his daughter on it. I think the 11-year-old with the flag, and they play boys, and they're beating the boys out there. But as a coach, though, how do you deal with the young ladies and their different mindsets and everything coming into the game? You just treat them like a regular athlete?
So, of course, dealing with girls a little different than boys because boys just naturally gravitate toward football, period. So just getting the girls to understand the concepts, the offense, the defense, how it works, just teaching them fundamentals. I am a stickler for fundamentals.
Yes,
By
ma'am.
coaching experience, I've coached basketball for over 20 years, but I absolutely love football, honestly, more than basketball. So I would watch football year round. So for me, what I apply to basketball, I apply to football, is really trying to get the girls to understand the fundamentals, um, how to position themselves on defense. And two of my sons have actually helped me train. So,
Mm-hmm.
between the two of us, and then the coaches that have been on campus working with, we have a very good program. Um, they've come over to help, teaching the girls different concepts, trying to get them to understand the defense, how it works, how to position themselves to pull flags. And I'm sure you've run into that,
Man, all the time. Yes,
with
ma'am.
girls positioning themselves to not get blown by trying to
Right.
get a flag. Um, Understanding how to throw a football, just really trying to just get them to grasp the basics, so that we can, be as effective as possible. So it's been a challenge. I've had my moments of frustration, I won't pretend,
Right.
but
Right.
there were good things that I saw once kids started, um, and just encouraging them, and not allowing my frustrations to get the
Always.
better of me, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
kind of take me out of the game mentally, to keep my head, because there are times, I don't know if you run into this, Coach Billy, but St. Francis, the teams that I mentioned, they've already played a season. Because they have such good teams, my girls would get on the field and just totally forget everything we worked on in practice,
Mm-hmm.
um, and allowed themselves to be intimidated. And I've run into that just throughout my coaching career period, where you play a certain school. Oh my gosh, we're playing this school. And the kids freeze up and they start doubting themselves. And it's like, no,
Right.
any team, and of course we all do this, any team can be beaten any
Right.
given day of the week.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, we college level, on the pro level. Anybody can lose on any given day. If they look past their opponent, they're just not playing a good game that day, they're subject to lose. And
Yes.
so trying to drill that into the girls to not psych themselves out. But it was easier said than done.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I noticed you had mentioned that you've been a coach of basketball for numerous years. I coached girls basketball at the high school I'm at. I was the JV head coach 1 year. I also coached a few years back. Did girls softball with Mrs. Dorothy Robinson, longtime athletic director and coach at Lincoln High School down here in San Diego. So I understand how to deal with the young ladies, to an extent because I have the experience. But as far as some of these young ladies, how many first year
Mm-hmm.
players have you had, and how are they adapting to the game of flag football?
How, how you said how many was their first year?
First year ever playing?
Probably
Yes, ma'am.
just about my entire team. I think
Wow.
there may have been two or three girls that had played before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
I know.
all
Okay.
So,
Go ahead,
like I
B.
said,
Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry. I know we were talking about flag football here on Straight Up on the Game with the great coach Letticia Gilmore from great Sacramento, California, the capital of California. And we have D Harv all the way in Florida. That's right. Mr. Florida Gator himself. And hey, D Harv, we talk about flag football. I think California would have a better flag football team than Florida. But D Harv, you have any questions?
Here you go. Anyway.
Well, you have hey,
so,
I mean,
how excited are your girls when the news broke that you were getting a flag football team at the school?
They were pretty excited. The girls were looking forward to it. I actually went to the special Black History Day that they have for entrepreneurs to come on campus to talk to the kids about our businesses at Sac High. And that's when I actually made the official announcement that I was going to be the flag football coach. So in my announcement, I went live on Facebook and I had a group of students around me. So there was a buzz. There was a buzz on the campus.
Beautiful.
The kids were all pretty excited about flag football coming to the school. And I can say that I had coaches from different sports who were very supportive. Now, the girls did, kids were giving them a hard time because we weren't winning. But one thing I can say about them is that didn't stop them from showing up practice after practice. Right. It didn't stop them from showing up game after game. My favorite memory will forever be we ended up having to forfeit a game because we were short. We didn't have enough players to field 7. One of my players had to abruptly leave before we got started. She played one play and then she had to go. So we ended up playing 6-on-7. And I kid you not, that game, we scored 3 touchdowns. That was by far the best game, playing one player down that we played. I kid you not. And I was so very proud of them. I mean, and they gave it their all, 100%. And it was over 100 degrees that day on top of that.
Wow.
So I'm asking the refs, hey, can you give us a water break? Can you give us a water break?
Right.
And they would accommodate us, giving us water breaks. We're playing in sweltering heat. But when I tell you that day, those 6 girls left it all on the field. They left it all on the field. And I couldn't have been more prouder of them.
That's what's up. You can't win them all. Every dog loses a fight. So just keep fighting. You'll start winning.
Man, 6.
Absolutely. Now, Coach Harv, 6-on-7. And we took it.
So they never came off the field then.
They
never came off the field.
No.
Wow.
Wow.
So we have some iron women football players.
That's Iron, yeah.
Nope.
They got the story about Iron Man, but that's Iron Women right there. That's one man. They went out there and did their thing. Oh my God.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
They were Iron.
Wow.
I wanted to ask Coach Harv if you know about the University of Fort Lauderdale in.
I didn't know Fort Lauderdale had a university.
Thank you.
I did not know.
Yeah,
is it for real?
No, let me stop.
Really? Yes, sir.
No.
For real. I think you have 2 schools down there that have flag football.
Wow.
I know our high schools here in Brevard County. Just
University of Fort Lauderdale and then Life University. Say it again.
I said our high schools here in Brevard County just finished their first season of flag football for the girls. So it's pretty big here
Oh,
too in Florida.
nice.
So yeah. Matter of fact, I'm
Okay.
a referee next season. So I'm going to get that money.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I know that's right. I do believe in, I think, January, the International Women's Flag Football Association, there's a tournament, a women's flag football tournament down there. It's either January or October.
Hmm.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of the tournament, but there's a big tournament down there every year.
Well, make sure it ain't January
I'm gonna have to
30th
look
that
it up.
weekend because that's the Heritage Bowl weekend. We need to see y'all there in San Diego.
Uh-oh, the Heritage Bowl.
But
Yes,
hey,
ma'am.
on that
Hey,
take,
Okay.
D Harv, you just gave me an idea.
See there? I'm the smartest one at the bunch.
You just gave me an idea. We gotta get with D Wright on this, man. Maybe, coach, you can bring your team down and we can supply a team down here and it could be a double header.
Huh.
I like that.
Oh, wow. We might just have to do that.
Man, because
That
hey,
would be
that'll be
awesome.
another way to promote the young ladies, women's flag and all that. And I can probably get
Right.
the local women's
Absolutely.
tackle team to come out.
Okay.
But on that,
We just
Oh,
got to get
nice. Oh, you
approved.
guys have a women's tackle team.
Yes, we do. Full contact. These girls, oh my goodness. Some of them women out there that I used to announce for the team down here a couple of years. Some of the women out there will give some of these guys a run for their money. I tell you what. I tell you what, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
but on the
Sound like a plan.
subject,
I don't know if you've heard of the Texas Elites.
Elite Spartans.
My mentor, Coach Angelica Grayson, just hurt their team coaching for Texas Elite. I think she was playing linebacker for them. She's a Hall of Famer. She's just amazing. She used to coach at the University of St. Mary's. Matter of fact, she was down your way. She was working in player development for the LA Chargers. But now she's back in Texas trying to get high school flag football going there in the school district she works in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
and we have one of our first chats of the night on Straight Up on the Game, and Elijah Dennis says that would be awesome. I think it's regarding the Heritage Bowl doubleheader. But speaking of that, Coach, you talking about the momentum we're seeing with flag football. What is the process to get a league, to get a professional league started for women's flag football in the near future?
A professional league? Now that's a good question. I have no idea how you would go about starting a professional league. That's a good question. That's something that needs to be looked at because my understanding is that there is a men's professional flag football league. I did see a reel, I think it was on Instagram or somewhere else, that the New England flag football team, I think they were doing OTAs, and coach was talking to the guys because I think they were getting ready to make final cuts before the preseason, and talking to them about what it was going to take for them to make the team.
Right.
And so there's a professional league. Matter of fact, the professional league was supposed to have a contract with CBS. And I don't know what happened to that. They did a segment on professional flag football last year. And I don't know what became of it, but I didn't see any games on TV. Oh, and by the way, Elijah Dennis, that's the son I was talking about, the oldest one that coaches with me. Hi, son. Love you.
Yeah. Keep the fire on them, coach.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Don't let the ashes simmer too long. Keep the pressure on them. Tell them, hey,
No.
look, I'm gonna start a league. I'm gonna start a professional league myself.
Right.
Let's do it. No, for real. Let's do it. I'm
Hey.
with it. Let's get a professional league going. There are a lot of teams up here in Sacramento. You can ask my son Elijah. He actually used to play flag football. He's playing semi-pro tackle right now, I think still. One of the best running backs in high school football here. That guy right there. Amazing runner. But we need a professional league. And let me ask you guys this question. I got a question for you guys. How do you feel about boys flag football becoming a high school sport? And I say this because I made my program co-ed because I get so many parents of sons who don't want their sons playing tackle at a young age. I run into high school boys who want to play flag football, and they're like, "Coach, I put a wig on. Let me come play."
Man.
No, no. But because
I kind of like that idea.
I mean, you have guys playing on the USA national team. There's a men's national team, and I'm sorry, but I take issue with the Pro Bowl now being a flag football game because I don't want to see NFL players in USA. I don't think professional athletes have any business playing in the Olympics. For me, that is the big stage, the elite stage for amateur athletes. And I just don't agree that you should have these athletes who are getting paid, have all these endorsements. They're taking away from people who have trained and played all their lives just to get to that stage. You have a professional stage. These people who are playing to make it to the Olympics, they're not. Who's going pro playing gymnastics? Who's going pro? I mean, is there a professional rugby league? You got tennis, you got Wimbledon, you've got golf, you got the PGA Tour, there's different tours, the Live Tour, the that tour. You got the NFL. Don't come and take this from people who are never gonna make it to the NFL, the UFL, in the football. This is their big moment. And so I don't think professional athletes really have a place in the Olympics, period. I don't want to see Mahomes and anybody else on Team USA when we hit 2028 in LA. No. How you guys feel?
Well, the thing that happened with that was years ago, it was the collegiate players in basketball that was going to the Olympics. But all the other countries had their professional athletes playing.
Correct.
So that's when they brought in our professional athletes in the USA to play against the other countries to kind of make it even. But then again, the collegiate players we had was just as good because they were winning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We were the only country that did not have professional athletes playing at that time. But I do understand what you're saying. We're on a different level because you get to all these other countries, they're playing basketball over there. They're playing baseball over there. They're playing football over there. What do? They come to the States and play. Who was that with San Antonio? Parker went back, played for his home country. A lot of these guys play for their home countries during the Olympics.
Victor Wembanyama.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Wemby too.
The Gasols play for their.
But who got the goal?
Went up against Kobe that one time. You know what I'm saying? Kobe took it to him on that first play. It's like, wait a minute, but Barbosa, a lot of these guys, they go back and play for their native countries.
Yep, Geek Freak.
Exactly. So I agree with you on that because we're on a different level here in the States. when it comes to professional sports. That's why a lot of people come here and want to play it. It's a different level. It's the top level. It gets no better than playing in the United States, you know?
Yep.
Right.
And this has been a great This has been a great conversation. I know we have to keep our show going.
Right.
D. Wright told me to tell you that he's working on that. He's looking into it right now about trying. So he's looking into it right now. But we're going to bring you on a little bit later on, Coach. But we're going to take a break and we'll bring on another coach that is coaching flag football on the East Coast. This is more of the Straight Up on Game podcast on YouTube.
There's too many guys here that should have been recruited and weren't. I want every one of you to get a chance to go to college and get a chance to play the great game of college football.
We'll have 50-plus colleges from all over the country that want to get good football players, and that's where you come in.
They're coming out and they're looking for talent. Today is about showing up and showing out. Today is about opportunity for you guys. Use that second chance to your best of your ability.
This is your chance to sell yourself so you never look back and say, I never had a shot.
We really look for who wants to compete, who's going with high effort, who's competitive.
The opportunity was there, so, took full advantage of it, and we're so grateful that we got to come out here and compete.
1 in 3 of you will get a scholarship, and that scholarship could very well change your life. You showing these coaches you mean business? Go in, sell yourself, tell them why they should sign you to go play football at their fine university.
Eastern.
We are back. Look, I apologize for my absence, but I don't know why a recruiter would call me for my son. I'm not the coach.
Oh, wow.
But I had to, handle that and text that and do what I had to do. But the good thing is I heard the whole thing, obviously, because I was producing from the background there, and I heard all the great talks about the women's flag football. We're going to get back to that conversation because my sis is on the line, and we're going to get back to that. But we want to start talking about some of the daily sports and getting back to, I know we talked about the Lakers, we talked about these different things earlier today, but I want to know something from all of you all. Well, first, Brian, go ahead, Brian, because I know you had to say. I had a question.
You go ahead, my friend.
Now, Coach Gilmore is a basketball queen. That's just what she does. Like, she's a basketball everything, but she took over the game of football. But my thing is, I was watching this special. I can't remember where it was on TV, and it was the Harlem Globetrotters. I remember when I was a little kid, I seen them in person at the sports arena in San Diego, and they had the original crew. But before that, they had came to our elementary school with Curly, the original Curly. I'm talking about the original everybody, like the original. And I got a chance to
all them,
to watch them. And I remember as a kid that sparked something in me. Do you feel that the game of sports have been so watered down to where our kids now, all due respect, want success now instead of going through, all of the steps to be successful? What do y'all think?
I think it's watered down. LeBron is killing in the NBA. For real.
Mm-hmm.
All the flopping, all these kids looking at him. And as I referee AAU high school, JV middle school, and to see these kids out here flopping on 3-point shots in the paint. And I got to call the flop rule on them. It's crazy. Just take a little contact and keep it moving. Don't be, man, I don't see so many videos on this week of just LeBron faking that he got hit in the head and nobody even touched him.
Yeah, and not to interrupt, but you're a referee. You're a youth referee, right? You are. So how's that? Do you get a lot of rebuttal back from the student athletes, or the younger generations of the kids? Do they talk back to you as a ref?
Oh yeah, I get some of them. I tell them all 4 of my pockets full of technicals. So
Wow.
you choose how many you want. You get 2 and you're out of there. And I don't mind getting you out of there. So, and I tell the parents the same thing. You talk crazy to me, they all talk crazy back.
Wow.
And I stand on it. So yeah, I done kicked parents out of AAU tournaments because of their mouth. You know, I'm like, yeah. You gonna try and give it to me? No, I control this. You know.
I hear you.
So if
Welch.
your son or your daughter don't want to listen, you know, hey, we try to coach them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these days, the parents don't really want you to say nothing to their child because they think they NBA, WNBA superstars in middle school and high school.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it's like I really don't care. If you talk to me crazy, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. You know,
so what do you think, Welch? What do you think on that? Thank you, D. Harv, for sharing that. What about you, Welch?
First of all, I want to see a D. Harv technical. I want to see how he gets the tee. How do you put the tee up there, D. Harv?
I look him in the eyes. I look over my glasses like this here.
This help. Yes,
then I get my whistle. That's one. That's one. The next one, you go in the shower.
Man.
Give it to her, baby.
Oh my word! But you brought up a good point there, D. Harv, about the flopping roll. A lot of younger players emulating these professional athletes. I know, especially in the NBA, but also in the NFL, a lot of high school players. I know they have the swag and all that with the mouthpieces. That's like the 2 mouthpieces. I've always seen that. But sometimes just you can look at there's like a lot of great role models, but sometimes there's like some stuff you do not want to have. Like, for example, with the flopping. That's one thing. And also the NBA right now is not a passing league. Seriously, it's not a passing league. It's 3A. I'm going to drive it all the way to the cup. And what does that teach kids? Like, for example, if someone's going to be playing in 7th grade or 8th grade basketball, what does that show? Like, oh, I'm just going to hog the ball and just go up to the hoop? Or you got to teach these younger players to break the habit of what they're watching on right now, like on a Thursday night or a Friday night, and be able to say, hey, you got to pass the ball because there's no I in team. And there's my coach speech of the night for folks.
I mean, that's good. That's good that you shared that. Yeah. Go ahead, D. Harv.
Parks and Rec League we just had. This one team, I mean, AAU team playing in a non-competitive Parks and Rec League. Man, the coach had them kids, they miss a layup. They doing push-ups in the middle of the game. And I'm like, come here. What you doing? Push-ups? No, we ain't doing that here. Look at the coach. Right. Do it again. Y'all, the whole team getting out of here. There's foolishness going on in these leagues, man.
Well, I think it's more. I don't even know how to word this because I don't want people trying to throw rocks on my house or whatever. You know, because I love the kids. But at the end of the day, you know what we call it, daddy ball and mama ball and all that stuff. That stuff is true. But I'm kind of like on the fence because, you know, relating to some of my peers and myself, all of our parents, mostly our daddies, some of our daddies, if we knew who he was, but they were the coaches. They were the Pop Warner coaches. They were the basketball coaches, the baseball coaches. You know, so they gave you an opportunity to play and rise above, you know, all of these different things. But that was a different era because we didn't have technology. We all know that. We didn't have, you know, Welch is the youngest on here, you know, but handsome young man, but we didn't have none of this stuff to look at ourselves. We had to literally, somebody had to be blessed on Christmas to get a camcorder to record a game. You know, or they will share it with the VHS on one weekend. We'll watch it at each other's house, you know, or whatever. And that's how we got down back in the day. We didn't have access to Zoom all the way in or watch our footwork and coaches to say, hey, you know, work on this. I do feel these young men and young women are a lot more advanced when it comes to the technicals of the game because they have the resources. I do believe that. And I do believe there's a lack of coaching that's going on, because now the coaches don't have, the mindset may be a little older, y'all know what I'm saying, or it may not be more advanced to where it's open. So these coaches lack the knowledge to teach these young men and young women the right techniques. So the cop out is social media, or the cop out is, let's go ahead and watch this quick reel. So all the kids just gonna copy the same stuff, even though it's good or bad technique. They're gonna keep doing it, and then when you coach it, there's a parent or or someone or an uncle that's gonna say, "Hey, I didn't teach my son or daughter that. That's not how you do it." While you're trying to coach the proper technique, how do you overcome that? And I think coaches on the line, Coach Gilmore, I think this is a good question for you, because you're actively coaching women right now and young ladies, and how do you overcome that?
So dealing with parents, it's a lot. And I've been on the coach, it's a lot. And I've actually been a referee too. I've refereed junior NBA, junior WNBA. I've been a high school softball umpire. I've been a little league softball, baseball umpire, and I've actually been a semi-pro men's baseball umpire. Wow. So yeah, I've had to deal with the different levels of issues when it comes to officiating games and dealing with the attitudes about, making calls. Or wait a minute, let me tell you what happened to me this season, you guys. This is it's triggering me to think about it. I had a parent on my sideline trying to coach his daughter on defense. When I tell you he's standing right by where she's standing as the corner, coaching her, I had to look at him and tell him, I need you to let me coach your daughter. You need to get off my sideline. Mm-hmm. I was, and I had to get my athletic director, because the way the field is situated at our school, the parents can literally walk onto the sideline. And so I had to tell somebody, look, I need you guys to get these parents off my sideline, because I don't need them trying to coach their child, and I'm the coach. Let me coach your child. If you think you could do a better job, take your child and then you go start your own team. This is my team.
Tell it.
If you want to come help out practice, that's fine. You can come help out. Now with my junior program, I do have parents come and help. But I will tell you, as a woman coach, from the youth level, even high school, I hesitate when it comes to bringing men onto my coaching staff, because I don't want a man trying because he thinks he knows more than me. Granted, he probably does. If he's coached, he probably has that experience, more experience than I do. However, I'm bringing you on to help. I don't need you to try to usurp my authority, right? And try to change the way that I'm running my program. A couple of men and, get them straight. Like, wait a minute. Hey, coach, no, I'm not doing that. Or no, you can't talk to my players like that. I'm doing this. And I need you to let me coach. They need to know my voice. They need to follow my instructions so that they understand I'm the head coach. You're just here to help.
That's a great point. So, that's a great point. That's how I've had to. I'm glad you said that, Coach. I'm so glad you said that, because Right. If you feel I'm not a great coach, join the staff, and help me out, or start your own. I hear that a lot, coming up through the rankings. But I know Bryan Welch is at Fresno State. He's a student there at Fresno State. They have intramural sports. I know you have probably friends and classmates that may play some intramurals. Like, how was that experience? Because I want to know the difference. Like, how was that?
Well, right now for intramurals on the campus at Fresno State, it is softball right now. They usually have a basketball league. It's kind of people show up. It's like Sunday rec ball.
Mm-hmm.
You show up, you have fun. It's a little bit competitive, but it's always a lot of fun. It's actually in the fall they have soccer and football, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I don't participate in that because I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off because multiple things. But it was actually kind of funny. You bring up a good point there. I was driving around. I was getting food last night, and they were doing softball practice. They were doing like intramural softball practice, and they have one of the guys. I think it's like a group of 6 or 7, and they're doing infield practice. So I mean, people are dedicated to it, and it's right now with this part of the semester. It's kind of a good way to step back and don't have to worry about your fine. You don't have to worry about your schoolwork. Don't have to worry about all that other stuff. It gets your mind to be reset and perfectly. Hey, a competitive area like softball or intramural softball is able to help the brain.
I heard some of the best athletes are intramural athletes because they didn't get an opportunity to get recruited. So they're out there, competitive and really going out and doing their best and trying to, sneak in somewhere. That's what I heard. I don't know. I heard it through the grapevine, and I really do believe it. Like, intramural sports, I feel is very important. They should start traveling. I know some schools do. Some schools do travel and with intramurals and of that, things of that nature. And I see Joe Boy Perez. What's going on with Joe Boy? He said, "What's up, fellas and Mrs." Joe Boy is one of our good viewers and great friend to all of us there. So he's probably going to be jotting down. I think you might have met Joe Boy Perez before, Coach, before. Yes, sir. I do have a big shout out to NorCal Metropolitan Church and God in Christ. I want to put a big shout out. That's where I first met Coach Letticia. We Bishop Macklin actually asked us for the whole jurisdiction to put on a sports camp.
Wow.
So we did a sports camp for, there's a lot of kids. And if you know about Church and God in Christ, we're the second largest denomination in the world. So you can imagine, and Bishop Macklin, is well renowned for having the biggest heart in the world. And he let us run the camp, and we had a really good time ministering to these kids. But the biggest thing is that's why I met her and her tenacity, because we were doing different sports, but we came together and we had to work together because we didn't have a lot of coaches that really knew the game. So we came together, and then I used a lot of her knowledge that I didn't even know. So ever since then, we've just been super tight. Anytime there's something sports, or, she's praying for me or something like that, or I'm, praying for her, or whatever it is, I want to thank her and her husband and her family just for, always being in the mix. So to all the viewers out there, relationships are important because you never know, where we'll need each other. But that was just huge, for Bishop Macklin to ask us to do that. That was just a lifetime thing right there.
That's what's up. What's that comment? I can't even see it.
Well, yeah, that was an awesome experience. And I don't know if you saw all the preachers came out on the basketball court and was out there shooting jump shots. I thought that was an awesome thing. Bishop was out there, Pastor Johnson, who used to play basketball. And my husband just chimed in. Gee.
I see I have another one that says, yes, sir, Bishop Macklin. See, you can't let them coaching folks start taking over the show. I'm telling you, they're gonna start coming in. They're gonna start replying. They're gonna start replying. It's gonna take over. They're gonna take over our show. It's all right though. But no. But seriously, we want to get back on track. We were talking about with Welch. He does a great job at Fresno State with the sports and doing all the commentating and things like that. I want to know about the northern part of California compared to the southern part of California. But I seem like everybody forgets the SAC area. Everybody forgets about, like I'm just talking about like football wise. There's a lot of players that came out of Sacramento area. There's a lot of players, but they don't get talked about a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but there's some ballers out there all the way up to Chico, all the way up there. We can go all the way up to Redwoods. I mean, there's players all through there. I know we had semi-pro back in the day. I owned a couple of teams. We always went up. Billy will tell you, we always went up to Sacramento and played in those areas. That's where all the ballers were. So, Coach, I know we're asking you a lot of questions, but who are some of the players that you remember in that area that really like made noise, like even through your era or after? I know your son was a baller. I remember watching his film when he was even a sophomore yet. I remember you sending me to his stuff. So,
man, let's see. Right. I'm trying to think who they came out of this area that I remember. I mean, I know about the baby from Oakland, but people that I've seen come from up here, oh my goodness, I am straight drawing a blank. What is his name? DeAndre Carter.
Ooh.
He's doing well in the NFL. Yeah. He's played on multiple teams, but DeAndre Carter, wide receiver, kickoff came from here. Ontario Smith is a player who made some noise in the NFL until, he did what he did. We won't go into what he did, but, unfortunately, his career was ended. He made a poor choice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else in football. Now, who's recently we've heard about, and you didn't hear about him until he transferred, and now you're hearing talk about him, is Cameron Scatterboo. Came out of Rio Linda High School, went to Sac State, and I believe
I have my own perceptions about him. I don't know if y'all want to wait till Bryan
Scatterboo is from here.
Bryan get there. I'm gonna wait till we get to that section. I play running back, so there's a lot of things I want to bring. I mean, he's a baller, but
wow,
a lot of things I want to say about Scatterboo.
But also, I don't know if you want to go way back in the time machine, former Fresno State wide receiver Marlon Moore, guy that grew up in Sacramento.
Marlon Moore.
That's right, Marlon Moore. Hey, how about Deron Bland, who played at Sacramento State? You remember him? Remember that guy?
Yes. Yes. Joe Boy Brad said, "Oh, we prepared for Ontario Smith at Fresno State." Yeah. Yeah. He said, yes, we did. Yeah. Now, he bringing back a lot of memories. Some people make poor choices, but that boy, I'm telling you, it was a point. Man. So, Scatterboo.
Somebody else came from up here.
There's a lot of players that came from. That's what I'm saying. You see how easy you just went through. What 5-6 players?
Charlie. There's a player you should watch for in college. He's in his second year. He just graduated from Sac High. He's finishing his freshman year at San Jose State. His name is Lamar Radcliffe. I got to watch him in. He got to play in the bowl game and scored a touchdown. But watch out for him. I think he's number 26 or number 29. Lamar Radcliffe, running back. I think you'll like him. He's pretty nice.
Okay.
Dwayne.
Hey, y'all know the running back. You ain't name a running back. I'm ready. I'm ready there. Look, I don't know if Welch got something up his sleeve, because I know when he starts to pass around like that, he probably got some What's up, Welch? What you got, man?
Well, we're talking about Sacramento players. We're talking about Sacramento State, and I mean, also you talk about that Northern California area. I would say probably the most famous person that has come from that area, from Sacramento, Chico, is the old timer himself, Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
there it is. I played against him in JUCO. I forgot about that. Butte College. Yes. Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you talk to Aaron, he'll tell you himself. That boy Dwayne Wright is a bad dude. My first carry as a freshman, I ran a 99-yard touchdown.
Oh, dang.
They caught the kickoff return. They downed it. Aaron Rodgers threw a 99-yard bomb to his brother. No lie. That's a true story. West Hills versus Butte College. I will always remember him. He was like, man, a legend in JUCO, just growing up, literally.
Of course.
I like that idea about scattering to the Niners. Okay, since we're on this topic, can I just go ahead and start this topic up? Can we go ahead and start the topic up? All right. There's a group of running backs right now in college football that are awesome. They're tremendous. But we talked about the exposure nowadays, right? We talk about social media. We talk about all these different things. If the Sanders brothers didn't have Deion Sanders, and let's say they had a regular coach that coached them up, do you feel that Colorado or any other university would have, when they would have transferred to the transfer portal, would have gave them the same opportunity they have now?
Nope.
This is open discussion.
Nope.
I don't believe so, bro.
Absolutely not.
No.
Why though? Why?
They would have stayed at Jackson State. That's what I think.
Okay.
And you look at it, and you see the whole age of NIL, and here's the thing: Shiloh and Shadur would make it as players.
Of course,
I think they would make it as players, but would they have the buzz around them? If they made big plays, that would be. But the Sanders name carries some weight. The Sanders name carries a lot of weight, and you look at it. The name says it all. The name says it all.
I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. I love Deion Sanders. Man, look, his sons. You know, I love them. I just love what he represents as just a black culture. I love what he represents as just a man. You know, but there's things that I don't like. There's two parts of politics, Joe Boy. I know Joe Boy puts in politics, but there's two players from here. Ray Caruth. Oh my God, you said Ray Caruth, Coach. Oh, Ray and Charles, man. Ray Caruth, he was a bad man, but he made a really bad choice.
Yeah.
He made a real, but he's from Sac though.
Whoa.
Oh, that was horrible what he did.
That was horrible.
Yeah, he is.
That was. But yeah. I wanna go back to that point, and we can get back to Ray Caruth real quick. I forgot the point. Those concussions. If NFLPA, you're watching. See, I forgot my memory, so you know I'm still on track. But what I want to say about the whole Deion Sanders thing, right? You got Deion Sanders. You have Emmitt Smith's sons. You have all of these different sons that's playing in the game of football, right? The thing that I'm going to say is I feel bad for the kids because there are certain things, there are certain politics that there may be some front office that get mad or may have been mad at the father, and then they'll take it out on the kids, you know, or vice versa. You know, it's hard to say too with my own kid, right? Saying we ain't nowhere near that level, but it's sort of the same thing. They may be a hater, but they hate my kid because they don't like me. And it's the same thing with the Sanders or the same thing with any other players. That's the only gripe that I don't like having those, you know, the sons. What do they call the sons? What are they called? Like, there's a word for that. Is it called, help me out, y'all. There's a word for having sons who, like, you're a baller and now they came through the line. It came through the, somebody help me out. Legacy sons. Right. Legacy sons, right? So
the legacy, right.
So, okay, Joe Boy said just like LeBron, right? Okay, that's different though, because LeBron is a billionaire. Of course his son is gonna play in the Lakers. I mean, come on now. The Lakers know if they lose LeBron, they're gonna lose. You can talk ahead about LeBron all you want to. You can talk bad about him, but guess what? Their sales will drop. Things will be different if LeBron were to say, "I'll retire right now," right? I don't know. Y'all help me out. I'm just speaking facts because I feel like in the sports world, these people are normal. I know these are normal people, but we put them up to a pedestal to make them feel like they can't make mistakes.
Right.
And there's some points that you talk about, like
That's a good point.
Yeah. And you see where some players, like some sons or daughters will use the name to be able to rise up. But there's some other players, I'm just on the top of my head, they don't use the name, but they use the style and they use the skill.
Yes.
And the skill should outweigh the name sometimes, but the name gets in the way.
Right.
So you look at it, it's that fine line we look at. Okay, like is the player that good, or is it just the name on the back of the jersey? But it's how you play at the end of the day. It's how you perform. And if you're performing well, you should be there. If you're not performing well, if you're little Timmy, if Timmy's dad's the head coach of the baseball team and he's playing third base and he has like 5 errors, there must be a little
politics floating around right there.
A little bit. But it's every person. I mean, every father is proud of their son. No, that's the thing. You just have to be. Hey, you just have to have that fine line and be able to get. Hey, if you want to work hard, you should work like 50 times, 100% more harder to keep that to work hard. 100%, you're gonna go 200%.
All I'm gonna say is LeBron is phenomenal. I'm sorry, he's a phenomenal player. His son is a phenomenal player. If you watch film, he is. It's just people are seeing LeBron and they're not seeing Bronny. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they're looking for LeBron out of the whole situation, and it's not like D. Hargo. Like he does not like LeBron James.
What are you looking at?
Erica Johnson said, right. She says, for some people like you, Coach D, you should give your kids the opportunity by using your name. Of course. That's a good, of course. Every step my son took was by himself. But if there are some bumps in the road, of course, as a dad, I'm going to step up and I'm going to do some things that help him out. But he needs to learn himself, but I'm not going to step in the way and put on some pad for him or dribble a basketball. But I will step in if someone talks down to my kid or my son. I will do that. I will step in. That's where the name comes in. I can step into those back rooms when the regular parent can't. I can knock on the door and say, hey, I need to speak to the presidents. I need to speak to the head coach. We can do those things, but you have to do it in moderation, because then your kid will get that, like you said, somebody said that privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm loving our viewers. They're giving us a lot of bread coming in right now. Certain names create money. That's right, Ozg.
Sanders' name creates money. The ball name creates money.
Come on, man.
Well, I know. I understand. I the thing is that the Ball brothers. One guy is doing well, but he has a good rap career. I'm just gonna say that right there. But you get the point. But like you see, there's certain names that you think about. It creates money. It creates buzz. It creates interest. And in this age of social media, it creates clicks and likes and reposts and comments. And if you look at you gotta look at these kids that are now making some noise. And you see the Sanders brothers, wherever they'll end up in the draft, then that's going to create noise. And wherever Shadur ends up at, possibly with the Giants, you're going to definitely see
the whole crew is coming. The whole crew is coming, and that's what they're looking. Look at all the moves that the Giants made. I don't know if y'all really been paying attention. I played for that franchise. They're a very rich franchise. The Moore family got that deep old money. And they know how to move when they need to move. they know from there's a couple teams I can see Sanders playing. I see the Cleveland. That's one, possibly. But we know what happens when players go to Cleveland and Buffalo. I can say that.
It's not good.
Careers are done. Careers are done. So yes, like I do believe that. I do believe that names carry weight, and of course we see it in politics. I'm saving that later, but we see it everywhere, right? If I was a professor at a university and I had 4 kids, that was mine, they will be going to that university for free because those are my kids, and I feel like I've worked hard enough. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when you step up to the plate and you're telling the instructors, no, since I am the president and those are my kids, these students going to get straight A's and they're going to get a degree within a year or two because I am the president of this. Like there's certain things we know what it is.
But also, we go back to what D. Harv was talking about reffing AAU basketball with the parents thinking that their son or daughter is literally the next LeBron James, the next whoever. It kind of brings that. It doesn't. You have every parent's gonna fight for their kid. Every parent's gonna fight for their kid. I understand that. I love that. But sometimes it's kind of like, hey, you gotta let little Timmy or little Jenny sink or swim. Seriously, you're gonna hold. You know what? If I have to hold your hand for 20 years or for 30 years, what does that show to you? You can't. Because especially right now, in my point in my life, I'm gonna be graduating in May. I'm independent. Yeah. Hey, I'm good. Yeah. Hey, sometimes I have to. Hey, I call my mom and dad every night. That's not. Hey, that's what I do.
And that's good.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. And for me, it's kind of like if I have trouble, I know they're gonna have my back, but I'm not gonna use my parents as a life raft.
Right.
Exactly. So it's able to show independence for the guy or gal to say, hey, I can go out in the world and I can get the job done. And I want to build my own name and my own reputation. And that is what Shedeur Sanders is going to try to do in New York if he goes to the Giants. Hey, be able to, think about this. Just have this right now. Giants, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm. Come on now. Come on. I mean, that's a classic game between Deion Sanders and who else? I mean, I don't know who the Giants had back then, but that was like a classic game back then. I remember watching those in the early 90s, right? Those games, those Thursday night, Monday night games. Well, it wasn't really Thursday nights, but there were Monday night games back in the day, right? So, I don't know. I just Joe Boy got some good stuff, y'all, real quick before. I think we got about 12 minutes before our show is over, but we're going to get all of this out. I would put my life on the line, money or not. I did out of love for the game, and that's all I knew growing up. That's deep.
Yeah.
He said he did it for the love of the game. I mean, I think all of us back then, that's what we did it for, right? Like the love of the game. We didn't do it for the likes. We didn't do it for anything other than loving the game. I ain't gonna lie, I want to go back and get my money back for every single jersey at Fresno State that people use for free and use my likeness. But for what? I help these young men now, right? So, like, it doesn't even make sense. I would say this before we pass it on.
Okay.
My youngest son, not my youngest son, not the twins, but my middle son, Damaris, played his first year of tackle football this past year. He was horrible. No, hear me out, though. He was horrible the first maybe 2 scrimmage games all the way through Hell Week. He was crying. He couldn't get through drills. But I used to always tell the coaches, they were like, man, you played in the league. What's up with your son? I said, look, trust me. It's in the bloodline. It's going to come out. When it comes out, you will know. Man, after the first game, man, stacking cats, slamming, body slam. I got film on it all. Running, because he played live outside backer and DN, so he was different than I was. He's thicker, he's taller, and these folks kept asking me like, "Man, what did you do?" I don't train my kids when they're at a certain age until they get to that age where they understand. So when they get to the age to understand, Now that's when I step in and I give them all the tools that they never had. So this year coming up, he's already like, Dad, like I'm ready to go. And I don't teach my kids this. That's being said, look at the Sanders last name and all these other pros. That's what it is. They're just stepping in because it's in the bloodline. Like we can talk about little Dennis. We talking about Coach Son. It's in the bloodline, so of course he's gonna be a baller. Same thing with you, D. Harv is in your bloodline. Same thing with you. You can't argue what DNA is. DNA is something that you cannot filter. You cannot try to mess with it. It's going to happen. That's why Bronny James, mark my word, he's going to end up being one of the top players when he gets to an age where he understands the game and it slows down. When his daddy is retired, he'll be able to see the game a lot slower. I really do think this young man is going to be super successful. He's already successful. He made it to where a lot of people haven't. With his daddy paying for it.
Well, that's true, but also be able to look how old he is right now. Is he mature? That's my question. I mean, he knows what's going on, and you see a lot of you're in that limelight, and you look at it, and there's a lot of people looking at you, a lot of eyeballs on you, and you get that pressure. But also, you have to be able to be mature enough to understand the gravity of that situation and be like, oh boy, I'm going to be suiting up with my father, which that's really cool. But this is with over 50,000 fans in the crypto.com arena, be able to cheer them on. That's the thing for me. Like you brought up a good point there, Dwayne, with your son talking about, hey, it's in the bloodline, but also you want to make it fun for the kid. You don't want to be
come on now, yes.
You don't want to be screaming at a player that is related to you and be like it's like that Little Giants, the movie Little Giants. I don't know if you ever seen Little Giants.
Classic, yeah.
And the guy and the dad and like the serious dad and the player on the Cowboys saying, hey, you gotta get the tackle and all that. That's when it starts to die out, when sports starts to die out. And that's when players do not become interested in playing that sport. But being able to be positive and also saying, hey, keep your chin up, you're good. Just, hey, you got to work on this in a positive manner, and you're able to attack that, you'll be good to go. I know for me, I didn't play football. I did not play football, but I was on the tennis court. I played tennis in high school, and my family was supportive. They said,
yes.
Hey, you're out there. Hey, you had a bad game, you're good. You're fine. It's not the end of the world. Hey, nobody died. It's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You're good. And that's for me. Hey, that's what parents should be doing right now these days. Not thinking about the future. Think about the present. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the teaching moments. Because when you look back on it, it'll make you laugh and it'll make you cry, but also you'll miss those moments.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to cry now. Keep looking at D. Harv being in Florida with all his sorry teams out there.
Hey, don't worry about what's going on over here. You worry about Golden State kicking y'all butt tonight.
It's okay. Yeah. Hey, I respect those. Hey, look, I respect Golden State. I respect them, but I can guarantee there ain't gonna be no Florida teams winning no NBA title.
The Lakers ain't gonna win it either. Congratulations to UC Irvine for losing the NIT championship tonight.
Oh my God!
Come on. Come on. Hey, what?
So y'all just stay tuned and watch them games Saturday.
Hey, look, I grabbed my head like, wow, you lost the NIT? Like, come on, that's the toilet bowl of basketball right there.
But
like the World Series to them.
Yeah. Well, how about that tournament in Vegas right now? That's helping out NIL funds. The CBC.
Oh yeah, huh?
That's right. Boise State's playing really well in that tournament. And that's a team that had a lot of ups and downs throughout the season, but they are turning it on right now. And a team that should have been in the tournament. I'm calling that right now. They should have been in the tournament, how they played in the Mountain West tournament in Vegas. But we talk about tournaments and stuff. We talk about names.
Yeah.
But it's just, you gotta love. You want to teach your son or your daughter the love of the game, and it's not the money. It's not the fancy cars. It's not the fancy houses. It's being able to suit up and play because it might be your last time suiting up.
It might. See, Erica Johnson, we have some really good viewers and some replies. Thank y'all so much for being so acclimated into this show. This is very important. See, women's sports. See, we talked about it earlier. We had a topic on women's sports, and we just went far and deep into it, and that's how it should be. Literally, that's how it should be. So, Erica, as you all can read, she says, true, but participation trophies are not helpful either. Please comment on this. I have my own. I'm going to keep quiet on this because I am a director in a school district, so I can't reply. I do want to on this, but I'm going to leave it up to y'all.
What did she say?
True, but participation trophies are not helpful either. Woo! That's
right.
I like that point. Thank you, Erica, for bringing that
Second place, third place, fourth place don't deserve nothing but a certificate. No trophies, no medals, none of that. That's how I feel about it.
I don't know. Second and third, you want to salute them now. Beyond that, no, I agree.
What if it's track and field, y'all?
Honor first, second, and third.
What if it's track and field and there's 8 lanes? And you get 6th place, but you ran against everybody who was state champions. Now, what about that? They were all state champions, or they were all in the top 5, but you got 6th place. That doesn't hold no leverage, or what?
No.
See that? I'm just saying. It could be a fast heat.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, that's honorable mention. Number 1 is what counts.
Man,
if
yeah.
you ain't won, you ain't big.
I love it. Erica said, what is that? Face confidence. It gives confidence.
Yeah, that make them better to play harder.
False confidence. Okay. She said false confidence. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Elijah says, yeah, these participation awards cooking this generation. They feel entitled.
Exactly.
We got one more, and then we're gonna close it out a little bit. Joe Boy, 2 more. Joe Boy says, I was proud to accomplish what I accomplished because I brought my whole tribe. For me. Just think what OT would be if I really was able to make noise, D. So just so everyone knows, Joe Boy Perez was the first, I will say, he probably get mad if I say Native American, but he was the first indigenous, football player at Fresno State. And when you talk about he worked hard, man, he had to face so many different obstacles. And I was was there to see it, and a couple other of our peers seen it, had to face a lot of different things. And coming where he came from, on the reservation, where we all know they get bad looks and bad reps. He made it out of it. He's doing great things now for the state of California. He comes and speaks to all of the, youth, all through the state of California and all over. So I understand what you're saying, Joe Boy. Like, you got to come from something to feel appreciated. Like, you can't just be given a token of first place, second place, and third place. Like, bro, you got athletes who worked hard for this first place. And like Erica said, like, false confidence, right? That's what it is. So I agree. I can't even fault you for saying that, Joe Boy, or Elijah, or Erica. Like, thank y'all, because I think with the folks watching right now, they need to understand the same thing. Like, people that needs to have a voice, we need to continue to have these platforms so everybody can see, how everyone feels, to make things happen, right? To bring it back to, I will say, to bring it back to reality. Like, I used to get mad if I got a second place growing up. What? Second place? What?
Oh.
I worked hard to get second place. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. That just builds your confidence.
Yep.
You know?
You live to play for another fight.
That's right. That's right.
But also, it helps you with your motivation. It helps you if you get a second place or a third place, or if you do bad on a test or an exam. You said, okay, I'm going to study much harder and take that initiative more seriously to be able to accomplish that, get over the hill and get a good grade, or get the first place, or get that scholarship, be able to impress people and be able to say, I'll get them next time. That's the thing that people need to talk about these days. Be motivated. It's not, hey, nothing's going to come for free. Nothing's going to come for free. I know that. Hey, you got to be able to build your initiative and be able to be motivated, take care of business. And that's what we have to do in this generation.
Right. Right. Well, Erica, we can't leave without reading this post. This is the last comment, and we're going to take it out until next Thursday. It's going to be another special show. But she says, through being a legacy, you have to prove yourself even more. So just participating will not do. That's the way to end the show. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Through being a legacy, you have to prove yourself even more. That's true.
That's good.
That is good. That's the way to end this show. Because I think there's some young folks that's watching, and I think they need to understand that success don't come. Sometimes it come overnight. It depends what God has in store for
you.
Yep. Literally. Sometimes it may come 20 years down the line. You may be working this hard, and you may be 50 years old, and you're like, now you may be 60. Now, God, you finally answered my prayers. You finally gave me what I've been working so hard and been faithful for. That's what it's all about. So that is great that you brought that up, Erica. We appreciate you. And I'm so blessed, D. I'm still going. I'm still doing what I'm doing to give to the next generation hope for their lives. I love you all. Thank you, D. I love you, my brother. We love you too, Joe Boy. Continue being you, brother. But it's funny that he said that. See, he put blessed in, and we can't end without saying this. We said all this stuff, but one essential that I remember I used was prayer, and the people around me prayer was really essential to a lot of my success. And that really helped me when the times was tough too. And y'all know I'm very, very serious about my beliefs and who I believe in, and that's Jesus Christ. That's why our show is very important. And all the viewers know that too. And a lot of the times where I was going to fail, I had to remember, like, he died on the cross. I gotta do something that's going to help me, make it. Because he went through all this stuff. A lot of these kids haven't been exposed to different, religious backgrounds, or just somebody who cares about them. They have not been exposed to that too. So some of these young men and young women don't have outlets. We have to remember that. They don't have outlets to help them, bring them to, peace or finding something they can believe in. That's very important. So we have to remember that as well. So thank you, Joe Boy, for bringing that point up. And we're going to close out. Coach Letticia Gilmore, thank you so much for coming on another episode. You was with us when we first started. I don't even remember when that was. That was a long time ago. But this is episode 31.
Man. Yes.
So
excited for you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a great conversation.
Yes. God bless you on all your endeavors. We're signing out for another week. Hey, Thursday is going to be on. We're going to have some very special guests as well. I know we're going to have some student athletes come on next week. So tune in. Don't be a stranger. Straight up on game. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Peace out.